All right, I missed the morning trading tape. It's Dave Knight here at 123daytrade.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Today is Tuesday, February 27th, 2018. I'm looking at an afternoon trading session today, trying to catch the move back down. I believe that I waited for us to get to S1 before I did anything, and it looked like a good point in time to at least try it on. To run back down to the lows. We'll see though. Gan signal heading back down once again to be 80, not once again, but today it's 62.84. Low of session is 62.72. So I'm looking for the market to move from here down through to the 190-degree angle around the 47 mark now. So afternoon session we'll be looking for 77 on one, and then I'll be looking for we're going to go for 62.07 on the second. And that's also, let's see, S2 is at 62.59. So we're looking for a fall there in the last hour of trading here. 62.11 we'll call it on second. Took a lot of energy for the market to move back up here. And if we're looking at past as a prediction of the future, we've done this 2 times today. We've went down, and then we went up, then we went down. We're able to get down to here last time, 62.72. So I'm looking for the market to come back down to here, get one out earlier before we reach the bottom, and then bust through and see what's down here. From entry, I need 62.97 for a 1p move down. And then we're looking at 77. You can argue both sides of this right now. The market can't break up. The market can't break that back down here. So not looking too good right now on the shorts though. We can get down here below this 16 mark, we've got a chance. Prairie dogging. Hopefully that's as high as we can get right now. This is where we're going to either make our money or take a two entry loss. I didn't project this upswing here. Hope we got enough strength to hang in here. Here's the decision point. Which way are we going? Is the GAN on the signal going to work for the long, or is it going to come on down? Is this just a resting point before the market heads back up? It spent a lot of energy though to get to this point up to S1. It spent a lot of energy to get from down here at the lows to get up to the S1 mark. So I'm hoping that there's a retracement at minimum back down to 6,300 level. Ideally going back down to the lows. So basically looking for kind of something like this, a triangle. Think about this as a triangle. It's not really a good triangle, but a triangle being like this. And then us, what price action, what I want to see happen is it to come back down to the lows and then make up its mind which way it wants to go from there. Break through. Break on through to the other side, right?
Three out of four Americans know they need life insurance, and many who have it know they don't have enough.
One thing I don't have to worry about anymore is what music I play in the background, since I don't get any AdSense money anymore. Break on through to the other side. I'm gonna take a less of a loss on one though. I'm not gonna get hit on both of these if it doesn't want to break. Protect one at break even here. I want this to be a quick. Honestly, I think we need to see some red bar volume to stop the downswing. Looking at this break point right here is what I'm trying to protect against. Right there, this break point. Actually, that's a little high. Let me get that right. Looking at that break point right there.
I don't have a lot of time to say. If you switch to Liberty Mutual, you can save $780.
I don't have a lot of time to tell you. If you switch to Liberty Mutual, you can save $782. Yeah.
Hello. If we can make it down here now. No, nothing here yet. The meaning of the angel side. Hello, I love you. Won't you give me your name? Hello, I love you. Let me jump in your game. Hello, I love you. Won't you tell me your name? Hello, I love you. Let me jump in your game. Oh, so good, so high, like a statue in the sky. Lowering my loss here if it's going to go against me. So I was looking for a break, not a stop. Protect the break point now. this is the one I'm concerned about, is that second contract. I don't mind taking a 5-tick or 6-tick hit, 8-tick hit. I really don't want to see it get above, say, 21.22.
Rick Saccone and the Republicans have spent millions on negative ads, but they never mentioned Connor Lamb supports a middle-class tax cut. Funny. Of course they...
When you're alone. Well, if you can just hold on there.
Paul Ryan will use the term entitlement reform to talk about Social Security and Medicare as if it's undeserved or it's some form of welfare, but it's not any of those things. People paid for it, they worked hard for it, and they expect us to keep our promises to them. A lot of these people are even taking care of other members of their family. I met a guy the other day who was 65 and was taking care of his 14-year-old niece because there's nobody else to do it. And if you mess with his Social Security, he won't be able to take care of her. That's all people want to do. I'm Connor Lamb, and I approve.
Alright, we're going to move this one down. 3P target's 56. Go for 59. That's where S2 is located at, 62.59. Come 2 ticks off of that if we can get it. All right, we're going to go breakpoint plus 5 ticks. So close to being able to stay in that. Get paid for our time today. I handle the afternoon sessions a little bit differently. I guess this is a good experience to see how I handle the afternoon session. I'm more aggressive on stop movement. That's kind of what I moved into my morning trading as well, more aggressive stop movement, because I know the market can turn around on the dime in the afternoon. It can reward you extremely quickly, and it can take away it's just as fast. 1P is that 97 market, my all-time favorite band. And I like both of them, though. I like David Lee Roth, and actually I favored Sammy Hagar a little bit more when he was the lead of Van Halen. I don't know what you think about it, but that was my, I like Sammy Hagar being the lead. Really don't want to see it stop there, right? I mean, we had this little bar volume right here, 812. I'd like to see it go test those lows and bust through. Next GAN signal to the downside. Also, I want to see 97. We would have caught this. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. Apologize. Seems like I've been just having some really nasty mornings lately. Let's say if we got in at 63.71 today. Let's use that as a mark. I make 62.47, 6P, 62.26 is 7. So that's going to be our target right now. 62.26 will come off of that by a couple ticks. We'll call it 62.33 right now. See if we can break. We'll always adjust this mark. Don't like being on the 5s. Don't like also being on the 7s, but I don't want to take a loss on this trade either. So I don't mind getting out at break even, but I don't want to take a loss. Looking for that triangle to complete, right? Go back down to the lows. Get down to 77, we'll protect the 97 mark. All right, now this gives us the ability to move. Get paid for our time now. We're going to trail 2 out off of this. One P hit. So I'm looking for the market to just have a downright crash here in the afternoon. Watching volume as well right here. Watching the volume. So I'm watching this. Wyckoff can come in both sides, right? This doesn't count. So we have 2 right now. There might be 3 more coming. That might be all she wrote to the short. Another thing that might happen, right? Here's our low. Moved up. Moving down to here. This might be the low here. And then the afternoon actually might do that, right? The last half hour, last hour might go against us. So that's what we're protecting against. And what I'm looking for basically is 77 is not the low. Or 72. 72 is not the low. It's got some more business to do below it. Put on my rally hat still. Every time I take that sucker off. Superstition, man. You gotta live with it. Or not. I live with it. And streaks. Superstition and streaks, right? That's what I believe in. Obviously, if I was trading 2, I'd be knocking 1 out at 77, and it would give me the ability to hold at break even on the second. So right now you're looking at, this would have been the first, and the second would have been holding out there at break even. I haven't heard this song in forever. From Diver Down. Honestly, I don't want to see a move back up until we hit the lows. It's kind of in between. Where does it say it's at? This is at 63.11. We're going to protect +3 for now. Get paid for our time here, even if it's a couple bucks. Frightening how this young generation swings, you know, it's more than just a loose sensation. And sleep, and you can't go home for half the week, you know, it's more than just and the cradle will ride, the cradle will ride, say rock. I said, show my age now, right? Van Halen. My boys like my music though sometimes. There's just not the good rock bands that we had back in the 80s, 90s. I guess even the 70s, really. 70, 80, 90s, man. Just can't find those kind of really good rock bands anymore. Of course, we had the hair bands, right? If you go on the satellite radio, they actually have a station called Hair Bands or Hair something. One of my favorite satellite radio stations is Lithium, though. I like that alternative rock. Those seem to be where I gyrated to. I don't like the new stuff very much, though. I guess I finally got to the point where I just don't like it. Alright, this video is getting long. I'm going to stop here and start part 2. Alright, part 2. Sometimes when you miss a move, it pays to just be patient and wait and catch that afternoon session. I had some crap to take care of, and honestly, I haven't been feeling too awfully great. They got me on a new med for ADD, and I swear to God, it's making me tired. Well, I tell you what, I miss being on Adderall. Not because of the drug. I was able to get off of it, weed myself off of it just fine. But knowing, you know, getting up and being able to get up without any problems at 5:30, 6:30, early in the morning, I gotta find that just, you know, get up and, you know, and didn't even need a cup of coffee to wake my ass up like today. I just could not get myself out of bed at 7:30 this morning. I was lethargic, and it took me forever to kind of wake up. Alright, Alright, so we still only have 2 that are above that 500 mark, although we're seeing reds through here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, there's reds coming in here trying to slow this market down, but honestly, I don't think it's enough. We'll go ahead and protect on the blue line now. 200 bar SMA. Give me a call sometime. And I grew up with a Hot for Teacher. The 1984 soundtrack was the one that was, I graduated in 1985 from high school. And 84 came out, was my junior year, I believe. And I mean, that was like one of those albums. You know that one of those albums, see here I am dating myself, right? Because I had the album, I had the vinyl record of this, not the cassette, not the CD, the vinyl. I've been debating about if I want to put a trading room together. If I do, there'll be no cost to it, at least until I get back into funded. If you guys are, if any of y'all are watching this video at this point, you know, give me a thumbs up, give me a like. Appreciate it. Make me feel like some of my work is worthwhile, even if you don't like what I do. They've taken my AdSense money away from me, so I'm thinking I gotta, you know, and I thought if I do go and add a trading room, I might, you know, go through Patreon, and then that way it's not a monthly fee for anybody, but if I benefit you, it might be a way to me make a little bit of money, keep my work going on. Because they've taken my freaking AdSense money away, at least until I can get my minutes back up to 240,000, which I project that I should be able to get up to 240,000 minutes by mid-year to around August. Because I took off, if you remember, I took off from pretty much June through September.
The hurricane comes, we gotta go.
That 600 million is your responsibility until it's destroyed.
No problem with that. I'm already.
Protected 6309. Looking at 06 plus 3. Reason time. You know what? I just get paid for your time. I want to see the last 15 minutes go down, not up. We can hold between 115 to 130. We'll stand a good chance to be able to keep in the trade. Jeez, I haven't heard this song in forever either. Forget they made, you know, a ton of different music sometimes, huh? This is from the Fair Warning soundtrack. Yeah, we'll protect 6309. So damn easy. Alright, we're going to go after the GAN 190-degree angle. That's at 47 now. Reason is time. I'll be extremely happy to get 59 too, though. If we get down to the lows, we'll be protecting the 1P mark. Don't want to be too close to the market. In the last 15 minutes, the open out, what used to be the open outcry of the crude oil market. I always say open outcry because that's how long I've been trading. I've been trading before electronic markets were available. You call in your order and wait for your broker to fill you, put his order in first and then fill you off of that. Bullshit. Interesting. This could be a new breakpoint right here. Right in here. Right around that 6,300 level.
Sorry. We get it.
Still working on the whole training thing.
You know, I really don't want to see the market jump, so let's skip over that.
Dedicate one to the lady. Sometimes if they need something to keep
I'm your ice cream man.
I'm out sometimes if they need something to keep you cool. Better look out now, the days got something you tell you what it is. I'm your ice cream man, standing when I'm passing by. On my mind, I'm your ice cream man, standing when I'm passing by. See now all my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy. Hold on a second there. I got a foot man, banana, Dixie cups.
All flavors and push-ups too.
I'm your ice cream man, baby, standing when I'm passing
Sing along if you know the song.
See now all my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy. Hold on one more. Well, I'm usually passing by just by 11 o'clock. I never stop, I usually passing by just around 11 o'clock. And if you let me cool you one time, you'll be my regular style. All right, boys.
Dixie cups. All flavors and push-ups too.
Ice cream man, time to passing by. Now all my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy.
All right, we're going to use this 6300 level now. $63.02. Remember, I ought to be reducing one at the 77 mark. Got within 10 ticks. I'm probably off on one right around here. Probably would have taken it off right there and only had one on now. Satisfied. All right, I double checked with Top Step Trader when and how long I can hold. I can hold till 310. I want to be out of the market by no later than 3. Though, which is 4 my time. All right, we're going to look at the S2 line. To think we can get through that 72. It can fall, but we can always go back to it.
Cause we're sick of these small walls. Why you think there's nothing might be something after all. Now you know this ain't no food street, and it's dead ahead. The poor folks labor keeps down here, they're the living dead. Come on down. They're dancing now.
I want to hold on for now, because I'm going to be holding till 3 if I can stay in this trade. Still think we got some more downside potential if I can hold between the 115 to 130 mark.
Once upon a time, it's all over but the shopping. I come to take what's mine. What's what we got is thing I play in this scene. Talking to little kids, what's like you ain't never seen. This is all. This is street. It's all. See, it got us real easy in this desperate part of town. Turns you from hunter into hunter. Go and hunt somebody down.
Somebody said fair warning.
Lost track and one point down.
You're a PI?
I'm resourceful.
Got within 10 ticks of the low down here at 82.
Don't ever let me be. I only wanna be by your side. Please, don't ever let me be. I only wanna be by your side. You really got me now. You got me so I don't know why don't you quit, yeah.
All right, hopefully that's it. Stay there. Stay there. Last frickin' 5 minutes can be violent. If you can hold through here.
Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know why don't you quit. You really got me now. You got me so I guess that night.
Doesn't seem like a lot of money for the effort there.
This is Lobster Fest.
It always comes down to how far does the market retrace before it makes that move. Trying to hold on to it. That sucker's going all the way back though. Went to 08 there. No, I mean, the market was down at 82, you know, I mean, what else can you do? Don't want to give up all your profits. Ideally, I would have been fine if I would have got 87 on that first one. Then I could have held, you know, breakpoint plus a few ticks here. Would have been a better off position to be in. But I only had one right there, so I had to protect. And last thing I wanted right now is to get nothing out of this trade. You could just as easily run to S1 right now as stay where it is and go down. Last 5 minutes is just helter-skelter sometimes. 125 to 130 mark. It's a market that probably will head back down and I'll be kicking myself for not being able to stay in it. But if it runs up here, then I'm glad that I got out, right? So what I did is I used this line in the sand plus 3 ticks. 63.01 plus 3 and exiting at 63.04. That's what I did in the end. That's what I used. Can't worry about things that you have no control over. I had no control over this market coming from 82 back up to 63.08. No control whatsoever. The only thing I could do as a trader was try to determine where the market might show some form of resistance on this down move and take advantage of that. Ideally, though, if I would have been able to hold that second contract, I would have come out most likely right here on 1 on 87, right in this move right there, or 97. I would have definitely got out of 1, and then I would have been able to hold +5 here, like around 63.14 or so on what I had left. I really wouldn't want to be on an even number, so I probably would protect the 63.13 mark. And that would be exactly how I would have handled if I would have been able to hold that last trade, not get stopped out on one side of this market. Then I would have been able to hold on to this. It's one thing to know what the market's doing. It's another thing, or could do, it's another thing to be able to do it. When you got profit on the table, it makes it tough. When you got within a couple ticks of being stopped out on 2 contracts and being down -20, and you only end up with 13. So it wasn't the all-around best trade, but with trading 1, I think I did about as good as I could with this. I knew the market would retrace between 115 to 130. There would be some form of retracement. I just didn't know if I could hold on to it. So basically, holding on at 63.09, excuse me, would have been, so giving up 5 more ticks would have been the winning play at this point. There's your 130 mark now. Seems like a lot of expended energy right there for 13 ticks, though. All right, well, I can't worry about what the market's going to do here. This right here is what get my goat in the past. The woulda, shoulda, coulda area of a trade. Eventually, you got to get to the point where you just say, I personally just say F it and let it go, because I mean, you can learn from it, but it doesn't do you any good to beat yourself up for not being able to hold on to it. But I did, my experience allowed me to hold up here, though, right? So I looked for a point that I believed that the market would struggle to get to, and if it did get to that point, then I wasn't sure which way the market was going to go for the remaining of the between 1 to 130. So when I was looking at that area, I was looking at an area that I believe the market, and I was watching my trend lines, and I mean, that's pretty much what I was hunting. That's what I do. I mean, you've got to have some form of logic as you're trading. It just doesn't make sense to fly willy-nilly, especially when you got profit on the table. I mean, this market could just as easily run way up here as go back down to the lows. And because it did not go to the lows prior to the 130 mark, but just as easy as I say it goes up here, it could run down to $62 a barrel between here and the trading session tomorrow. And one of the things that you can't do at Top Step Trader is hold a trade past 310 CST. You have to exit, and that's for their records and all. So it's a day trading company. Top Step Trader is not an overnight company. It's a day trading company. So you've got to incorporate their rules into your day trading, or into your trading in this sense. Once you can break away from Top Step Trader with some of your money, then it's your rules, right? But they are the ones with the gold, and if they have the gold and they're willing to fund you, then you have to follow what their rules are. And their rules are, there is no overnight trading, there is no trading past 310 CST until the markets reopen up. In this case, the crude oil market opens up, I think at 6 my time, 5. So you can restart somewhere around, in the late evening, you can restart trading. But ideally, if I was going to trade any other time except the American markets, I would get my ass out of bed around 2:30 a.m. or 1:30 Central Standard Time, and I would trade the 1:30 Central Time through about through it would be roughly, I guess if I was a younger man, I would trade 1:30 a.m. through about 11:30, 12 o'clock on most days. So an 8-hour day, 4 days a week, or an 8-hour day, 5 days a week. So if I was a younger guy, that's what I would look at doing. I would pretty much sleep the afternoons. You'd be on midnight shift, the graveyard shift, to day trade crude oil. Now that's what I would look at, an 8-hour shift between, you're getting up prior to that, so you're probably getting up around 12:30, an hour prior, 1:30 my time, to be ready to go for the 2:30 time, and you're trading the 2:30 through 2:30 to 10:30, 11:30. So 9, what would that be? So if you want to look at, so it's a 8-hour, 9-hour day. I guess it works best if you're on the European side of the world, to be able, because it's your morning. 2:30 a.m. is here, is your morning, right? So 2:30 Central Time. So what am I talking about? So you're sleeping through this time, around that 2:30 mark. This is when your time. So 2:30, there's not as many bars. So this morning, I didn't see any. You wouldn't have seen anything until the 7:30 mark, it looks like. Could have caught maybe a little bit of a long here up until this bar shows up, right? This becomes highest volume bar at this point. And caught this move coming down. May or may not have been out at break even. Get in again. You probably get out, knocked out here. Still would have looked at the short side of the market through here. And you probably would have got out around this area for your day, around 11 o'clock or so mark, right through here. This would have been your end of your day right in this area. It would have been a great day today, but there was a long and looks like 2 or 3 short signals today. So an 8-hour trading day, this would have been this was where you would have looked at and said, uh-oh, Wyckoff stopping volume right here, and you would have been looking for the market to right around this area. That's why I'm saying here, because look, this would have been your exit point. Here's the market, all that volume came in, but it went down through to here. And now what you want to do is look. So let's look at those two lows against this. And come down here and look at your Williams. Here's Williams. Here's what I'm looking at is the yellow line, by the way. And on this low, coming down, we're right about here. So if you look at the low, and then we look at this right here, what we got is this, right? There's your mark to get on the long side or remove the trades. So this would have been your exit point. If you've been able to hold the whole session, this would have been your exit point on your trading session. So, you know, you're starting at roughly 2:30 a.m. I'm not a young man anymore. And whoops. And you're trading to 11:30 today, roughly. 11 o'clock it looks like. What was that about? 11:05 today. You're exiting your trade. So your time, 5 days a week, you're putting in, 8-hour days to 9-hour days to 10. So, trading in this case, you're looking at probably a maximum time, including getting up, getting prepared and everything. You're looking at a job that requires about 50 hours a week of your time on weeks that have a full 5 days of trading without any holidays. So obviously this is kind of what I'm getting at. When I was a trader, a younger trader, these are the kind of hours that I would work in the day, but I was working the 9 to 5 p.m. back in the day. But I would get in, we would start our trading day basically when I was a younger man in my 20s. I was at work at 6:30 in the morning, and I would stay till about 3:30 to 4:30, depending upon when sometimes I could get out at 3:30, but more times than not it was 4:30. So there's your 10-hour trading days in America that I used to do, and I did that from about 23 years old to about 43. 20 years of my life I did those 50-hour weeks, and then I was able to bank money and put into the trust account. Unfortunately my dad passed away and not able to withdraw, but someday that money's mine, what's ever left of it, after my mom uses as much as she needs. So I don't know, I don't normally, like I said, I don't normally trade the afternoon session, but there's a way to handle it. Now what I did in this afternoon session was not worry about what happened prior. I was looking for an area, knowing that today was a red day. What do I mean by red? When I'm thinking red, I'm thinking, what's the daily chart showing? You can see today's a red day. And you can call it could be any color you want it to be, but a red down day, that's what I mean. So if we look back here to the last swing, what are we in? We're in an upswing, right? So we're trading with the trend, and here's your trend defined right here. Your crossover around this area, and it's been in an uptrend since looks like mid-October to now. We've been in another uptrend, and this market has moved from roughly the $53 range the 50 range to where we're trading today. So the question is right now, is this right there, is that the highs for the year? So what we don't know right at this point in time is if we're going to be doing this, or is the market really looking to do this? The path of least resistance right now is for the market to do this, right? Have we had enough capitulation up here? Is the Ziggy man, is he done? Is Ziggy done right here? So I always think in terms of Ziggy, right? If you know this by now, I looked at the Ziggy, I think. So here's your Ziggy man right up in this area. Is the Ziggy man done going up? Is this going to come back down for the year? So March is quickly coming to us. So what's March going to do? March has a history of being a pivotal month. So March being a pivotal month, are we going to go back down here and test these lows? Are we going up here to test the highs? Or is March going to be a absolutely crapshoot and do nothing? So that's kind of where the market is at this point. We don't know. I mean, the unknown is, and anybody that says they know what the market's doing, the only thing that you can do, well, not anybody, I would say that there's probably 1/2 of 1%, another 1/2 of 1% that actually knows, because they have enough money to be able to figure it out, and enough, so that's why the wealthy always stay wealthy, pretty much, right? They've got everything that they need to stay and keep their money for the most part. But for the rest of us, the 99.9% that's left of us traders, we don't have a clue what the market's going to do in the month of March. And personally, it could go here, it could go here, it could go here, it could go down here, or it could stay right in here. That's pretty much what it can do, or it could just jump back and forth in between this range the whole time. I mean, it could do any of those possibilities, and we don't have a clue, 99.9% of us, what the market's going to do. We can forecast it, right? We can say, all right, I can forecast this out. I can say, all right, well, what does the market right now currently say? So we could like go do something like this. We could use the extension, right? Whoops. Double click there somehow. So we can go back and say, all right. So here's your technical traders coming in saying what the month of March could see up to here. So, new highs. I mean, you're looking once again into the $80 range. So 82.50. So I mean, on the daily chart, now this us running to 82 in the month of March is highly unlikely, but us getting into the $70 range is extremely likely to a forecaster forecasting out where the market could go to. So basically, if we look right here, us to be able to go up to here is a possibility. So what's the play here? This is where options kick in, right? So if you are going to get your futures positions believing this is going to happen, what do you do to protect yourself against the naked area of this? And the answer is always, and at least as it relates to futures, options. And what are you doing? Well, there's two things you can do, right? You can sell an option and collect the premium, or you can, in this case, since we're buying the futures to run to here, is I'm thinking of a forecaster that's believing the market's going to $70 a barrel. So they're forecasting out, and this is something that we used to do when in my days. We're forecasting our financial analysts with their technical work and their fundamental work are coming back to us, TF, and saying we believe the market's going to go up to here, and we're going to play this on the futures side. Now, we wouldn't be buying futures, we'd be buying the oil companies or whatever. So, you know, we're buying the Exxon, believing that this is where we believe crude can come. So we're buying Exxon Mobil, you name it. We're buying through here. But what my job was back in the day is to offset their positions. And the way we'd offset is with options. So I had to think opposite of what they were trying to do. So the job of me coming into the employment numbers was to get to what's called delta neutral. So buy enough options, and notice I'm saying buying, because that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be buying options. And you're not collecting. So there's two ways of buying options, right? You're either buying an option or you're selling an option. You sell, you're collecting premium. And if you buy an option, there's two different options that you're buying, right? There's actually two ways to sell, and there's two ways to buy. So you have to think an opposite of what they're doing. So if you're buying futures, is the easiest way to think of this, then you're buying short options and you're paying a premium. So you're buying options in this case, believing the market's going to go down. Not selling options, because if you sell an option, you're collecting a premium. So you either buy, in this case, the technical terms are called put and call. So you buy either a put or a call, or you sell either a put or a call. So there's 4 different ways that people use options. Most of the companies are in the market to sell it and collect the premium. And you win that about 85 to 87% of the time, you win on that. Then the problem is that you have unlimited risk on the sell side. We won't even get into that. So let's think about, if I believe I'm forecasting up to here with the companies that I'm buying, then I'm coming into the option market. In this case, so if we're buying stocks to come to here, I'm actually buying puts that have time decay and all that stuff that come to it, and I want to know what the value is per dollar or percent or per whatever movement that I want to figure out, and then offset that with the options prior to the employment numbers being released. So in this case, buy enough puts, and the job of this is to be able to protect in case this doesn't do what they projecting to do, which, believe it or not, forecasters are only at best 50% correct. So I save their ass by buying puts if the market actually does this, and their positions are go underwater, but we're offset with the puts in this case, selling the market, selling the futures, not selling, excuse me, buying calls or buying puts. It gets confusing after a while thinking about this, but that's kind of what I used to do back in the day. I don't know if that makes sense, but one of my main jobs back in the day was protect and call a concept called delta neutral. Kind of interesting thing to think of sometimes. And that was my life for about 20 years. And I started trying to just trade, and so my story with, I started with the billions to the millions to my own personal trading into the thousands. So this was me in mutual fund company, private money management, and then doing it myself. This doing it myself, still a hell of a lot more happy than up here working for the man, working for another guy to make him lots of this. It's much more gratifying down here making it for myself or helping some other traders to make it as well. All right, I'm gonna go. God bless. Take care. I'll see you in the next video I put together. Bye for now.